and thank you all for your presentations today and for attending. My colleague Senator Byrne will talk about the specific issues, localised contamination issues and that, and Deputy Crowe is here also. I just want to talk about Irish Water, I suppose, in a broader context, and recognising the significant improvements that have been made and the progress that you have been made, also recognising the challenges. I think we need to be having this conversation in the context of, though, our social and economic challenge around housing and the housing crisis that's affecting everybody of every age. And I suppose one of the big concerns from the general public is that we're 8 years on from the establishment of Irish Water. And in that time, I suppose there was a decade of undersupply of housing that we're now trying to respond to with Housing for All. And what I don't see in the presentations today, and what I think concerns me, is how the organisation is geared up to actually deliver on Housing for All. Because when I talk to people and councillors particularly around the country, in every local authority, and from Donegal down to Kerry and Louth, and issues around the water quality issues, the contamination issues, the capacity issues in terms of water supply, but also in terms of waste. It is being repeatedly identified to me by local authority members and members of the public and members, stakeholders in the construction industry, that one of the biggest barriers to increasing housing supply is a lack of water infrastructure and infrastructure for wastewater treatment. And there are countless, and Mr. Cleeson, I'll send you an email afterwards. I'm not going to go through every, example that I have, but I can give multiple examples of housing developments of 15 houses, 30 houses, 100 houses that are being held up. And I suppose the CCMA are here today, and I want to hear from them in the reply as well, please, because the CCMA and the local authorities will this year complete housing needs assessments for every local authority. That's a really important development in terms of us understanding where the housing need is, but most importantly, where the housing delivery is going to be targeted. So I want to understand from the three parties today, from the department, in terms of the planning delays, the 3 to 5 years, we can't, it's unsustainable. That's basically saying we're adding 3 to 5 years to the housing crisis. So we need a plan to reduce that timescale. We need to know that the housing needs assessments that are being completed by every local authority, that Irish Water is tied into that their capital plans are tied into that. And so that there is an understanding in every local authority of where they can plan and deliver homes. I'd like a response from the three of you on that issue.
I think you're on mute there, Fergus.
Maybe, yeah.
Right. Chair, I'll start from the department's point of view. Absolutely, the Senator is right. Provision of water services is critical to housing delivery. It's stated in the Housing for All document that we won't build our houses unless we provide the water services, and the government is providing €4.5 billion of investment in water services over the period of the plan. That is huge, significant investment. And I will speak to this in more detail, but I think there's a couple of very positive developments happening here, and it speaks to the strength of Irish Water as a national utility. Irish Water, for the first time, has produced wastewater capacity registers and water capacity registers. So there is absolute clear sight to all involved of where there is sufficient capacity in the system or about to roll into the system to facilitate the development of housing. That absolutely feeds into the local authority development plan process, so that there should be agreement between local authority ambition and strategic approach to planning and the ability of Irish Water to service that development. You will always hear the stories of where development is held up because of a lack of capacity or some delays. But I was speaking to Niall in recent days. The Irish Water has some I thought it's very graphic, very powerful graphic information of the ability of Irish Water to service the housing demand, that when you look at it in the whole, the vast majority of the development is serviced and serviced in a timely way. So maybe, Niall, maybe you might speak to that point.
Yeah, look, I think the capacity registers are really important and a big development. And not only do they point out to where we have capacity, but where we don't have capacity and where we are looking to build infrastructure. And one point to make, we will work with developers on this kind of stuff. If we know infrastructure is going to be built in 2023, we'll work with them because we know it takes time to build houses. So we'll give them the go-ahead, in 2022, because we know that their completion will be in line with our completion. That we do work with them. Also with developers, we work on diversion of stormwater so we can increase capacity. So on a working level with our connection developer services teams, we really work very hard with developers to try and get those applications through and get those sites built. And what you don't hear is the success stories. You just hear the very negative ones. I don't know if...
Niall, if I could come in there, if that's okay. Yeah, apologies. Just to follow up on that, Senator Fitzpatrick. As Niall outlined, we do have capacity in the vast majorities of towns and cities, and Irish Water has distributed water and wastewater registers that will indicate to people and will flag to people where they are. They've been issued to the local authorities, to the EPA, the CRU, to the department, to approved housing bodies. And so we are trying to direct people to where capacity is immediately available. We also have growth programs running in our capital investment plan, like the Networks Extension Programme, the Local Network Reinforcements Programme, and the Local Housing Activation Fund that specifically target existing bottlenecks in our networks. Where we do have local constraints, we work with our developers and we work with our customers to try to find local solutions while the long-term capital programme is being delivered. As Niall said, it can take 3 to 5 years, but in practically all of the instances, we can find local solutions such as surface water removal, on-site storage and attenuation, things like that. And I suppose just to put that in context, in 2020, we were in a position to approve connection offers for 34,579 homes, and we were only in a position to refuse 125 connection offers for homes. So I fully understand that people can, sometimes it can take a little bit of time to come to a local solution, but the numbers are that in 2020, 34,579 homes received a connection offer, and we were not in a position to facilitate connection offers for 125 homes. So we do everything we possibly can to facilitate and find those local solutions. Thank you.